Welcome to Daggers and Shadow Daddies.
We're your hosts, Ryan and Adriana.
Buckle up, Buttercup. We have so much to go over.
There is so much.
So we're going to get to one part of this, and I'm going to linger.
One part.
Hold on. We're going to get to a lot of parts of this, but we're going to linger on one part because I have...
You're just holding on to it?
Yeah, I have an issue with this.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have any issues. There was just so much, and it was just, I'm really overwhelmed with how much is going on right now.
I look forward to you making me not have an issue with what I have an issue with.
Oh, goodness. I don't know. We'll see.
I think you can offer an enlightened perspective that I don't have.
What is it?
It has to do with more.
With more coming out? Because, yeah, I have
More VK is not the problem.
Well, good,
but it
yeah.
involves that. So that's why I'm assuming you will have a more enlightened perspective.
Oh, goodness. I don't know.
It's all good. We'll get to it when we get to it. Let's start this bad boy from the top. We need to do.
There is so much that happens. So more comes out. Braxis, Bonecarver, and Weaver. Amren betrays. Dad comes back.
I don't think Amren's betrayed anybody.
Angry.
I have an idea as to what I think is about to happen.
Oh, I really, really, really want to hear it. Okay. Dad comes back and dies all within the same.
I think I kind of called this.
5 minutes.
I mean, I said like 12 different things I could have had to.
And then Elaine kills the king. Like, this is just so much. And it was so overwhelming. We went through 9 chapters because...
8 would have been foolish.
Yeah, obviously. And I'm glad we ended on that note. It's a little better than...
We could have done 17.
No.
I could have kept listening.
I know.
But we're going to finish this book today. Yes,
we are. Yeah. Oh, I'm emotional. I feel emotional from all that is happening at the very end of the book. Like, it makes me feel guilt from all of the whininess that I've had at the beginning of this book.
You've been manipulated.
Yeah.
What's happening? You should not feel bad for being whiny about parts of this book. It's okay for the results to be great, in the middle to still be horseshit sometimes.
I almost wonder if it's just the effects of a third book. Like, you're in season 3 of a TV show, even if it's the same exact quality, you have so much more background on every single character, so you're very emotionally invested by this point, because I am way more emotionally invested than I was on the first 2 at this point.
All right. I don't know that I share your sentiment with all of the characters. I think this book could easily now, or the next books could easily spiral into different storylines, and I'd be totally fine with just letting Rhys and Feyre go off into the sunset. That would be fine with me. Yeah. I know that's not going to happen, but I feel like I've now seen and heard enough of their life. I'm ready to move on to other people.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And I almost think that's what's going on in the next book that's coming up. Frost and...
Starlight?
Yeah.
And then Silver Flame?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't fully know what's going on in those books, but I don't think that Feyre and Rhys are the primary, or if they are the...
0 of what's going on in those books. But I have... Yeah. Wait, we need to start this one from the beginning. We have to.
Okay, yeah. So chapter 66 starts with the morning after Nesta, Feyre, and Elaine are all cuddled up, and Feyre is pondering Tamlin's deception of what just happened. She's just like kind of reflecting on it for a little while, and with the war that's all coming up. And she's looking at her wound. She's getting kind of dressed and all of this. And one thing that kind of got me with her wound is her shape-shifting ability. Can't she shape-shift for her wounds to go away almost until they're actually healed? Would you still feel the pain? I don't. Could you use any of these other skills that she has to help with this healing process?
So, in a similar vein, right, I have a thought with this. I think that's kind of the problem with the crux of shape-shifting, is shape-shifting is manipulating tissue, right?
Yeah.
Changing things. Therefore, injuries actually would not be a thing. With my very, very, very layman's understanding of what injuries are and what shapeshifting is, I can see it shouldn't be a problem.
It shouldn't be a problem, but I can see where you are limited on your power length of time that you can use your power. So it would be a waste of time probably when she's like, I could just wait until my blood naturally heals my muscles and skin.
Couldn't you just shapeshift that one part of your body to be as if it weren't injured?
Yeah.
It seems like a pretty minor output.
I had the same complaint when she had the wings, and she's like, my wings are so sore, like to show how realistic the wings are.
You're like, shapeshift better muscles.
That, or just put them away. Just like make them not be there. Put the wings away. They don't need to be in pain.
Well, I would say you're sore where the muscle for the wings would be. Right.
Oh, I thought she said her wing muscles were sore and her back muscles. All of her was sore.
That's what I mean.
When learning.
You would need different muscles in your back to articulate wings.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that she shapeshifts those muscles in place as well as the wing itself, and that is what's sore.
But I'm glad we're on the same page. When she had the injury, I'm like, just shapeshift your muscles to be fixed, I guess. I don't know. That's also a lot of effort.
Pharaoh's a problem in search of a solution. 85% of this book.
But I think this is also a thing where when you give too much power to characters that...
Do you think that's why they give her less power bandwidth, so to speak?
Yeah. And I do like that Cassian, I think, was the one that points out a lot of the power limitations on everyone around him with the planning and all of this. He's like, we could do this, but... I don't think
You're
we should.
Useless because of this.
Yeah.
You're useless because of this.
If we use your power at this stage, all of it, that doesn't help us later.
Yeah, he's actually trying to form stratagem.
Yeah.
Which I think is really neat.
So that's going on. So she's like...
She's considering what's going on with Tamlin.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't really think we had much thoughts on Tamlin. We now figured out he was the pseudo double agent, I think you called him.
Yeah. Yeah, he was... Well, no, he turned out to just be a double agent, right? So they thought he was working for Hybern. He's a double agent because he's actually working for the good guys. Now, if he went to the good guys as a double agent and then convinced Hybern that he was spying on the good guys and was actually still working for Hybern, that would make him a pseudo double agent.
Which he didn't do. He just kept everything a secret. He's just like, I'm done working for Hybern, or like, cool. And he goes back to Hybern, but he didn't tell this team, I'm going to spy on Hybern for you. He just went back to them.
Yeah, I actually think he's more of a free agent.
One time I said that I think Lucian is just doing everything for himself and his court. Whatever benefits his court.
You mean Tamlin?
Yep, that's what I meant. Whatever benefits Tamlin's court is a decision he's going to make. He saw both sides' plans, used it all to his own personal advantage.
Arguably the smartest dude so far of the High Lords, because he got all the information he could get before making a real decision. And that entire decision is still based mostly off of emotion for Feyre, I think.
That threw me through a loop.
It didn't.
Saved her.
Yeah, we had this discussion.
See, if you did to me what Feyre did to Tamlin, I would have used...
You're the Tamlin in this?
Yeah, if I was Tamlin.
And I'm the Feyre.
Yeah, and you're Feyre. And you, yes, your sexy long legs. If you did all that to me, I would have used my wind power to push you off the cliff. And I'd be like, bye, you're done. I don't like her.
Yeah, no, your love is...
Well, I mean, I like Feyre, but if I was Tamlin, I'd be like, you're dead to me.
Well, yeah, your love is a fickle, precious thing. I'm glad I get the opportunity to continue earning.
Don't betray me.
I shan't.
Then Winter Court arrives with the Lesser Fae and all of their army militia.
Fuzzy animals.
Yeah, yeah.
And Mor would say.
I have a quote from Feyre when she sees the Winter Court do this and bring everyone in. I wouldn't be surprised if they could talk, which is just...
Why can't they talk?
Yeah, like she just sees them. She's like, Lesser Fae, can they even talk? You know what? I bet these ones can. It just kind of puts them down again. It was
I thought she was talking about like the tamed polar bears.
She was just talking about the Lesser Fae at this point.
I thought she was talking about the animals they brought with them as well as the Lesser Fae. I thought those were two separate entities. Like these animals. They're so well trained. I wouldn't be surprised if they could talk.
That's way nicer than I thought. I just thought she was viewing them as beneath humans. How she just thinks humans are not beautiful. She's anytime she describes them, you're beautiful for a human. These Lesser Fae, they're intelligent
for animals.
for an animal.
Yeah, no, she's pretty racist. What do you think they're eating in the Winter Court? Are they eating these creatures that are this intelligent? When she brings up the fact they're bringing animals and stuff, like, if you lived in Antarctica or wherever there are polar bears, I, for whatever reason, don't know where that is, I would assume that you would eat them occasionally.
I don't know. I've only heard of chicken being eaten, and that was in the human
Good thing the
lands.
Fey chickens are still stupid.
No,
Well,
I don't know.
they sacrifice goats for Amren, right? But
Pig, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's things. I don't know. I'm just looking at it thinking, so they have regular animals and then they have like animals. That'd be cool.
That reminds me of the yogurt
Yeah,
Dan.
that's exactly it. Yeah, they're fanimals. Danimals is because it would be delicious animals.
Oh.
I don't think that's accurate, but it was funny. And then Fey animals is fanimals, and they're like other animals, but they got more swagger, and they're just the sexy ones. That's what you can tell.
Which animals are the smart ones?
The
The sexy ones. That's just so messed up if you don't hear how that joke has evolved.
Honestly, if you hear that joke and you think somebody wants to fuck a polar bear, then again, I'm not here to shame anybody. Feyre looked at him and was like, I bet that one could talk.
But that one is smart.
If that polar bear could talk. I don't know why I'm assuming they're polar bears. They're just big white bears. That's why. It's like they're packing around Coca-Cola. Oh my God, it's the Coca-Cola bears.
It is.
Just personified. She's like, they brought cases and cases of Coke. Hybrid is the Pepsi of this whole universe.
Oh my God. So at this point in the story, Wintercourt shows up. She's just in shock of everyone who is here, which is great. And Azriel is still healing and wounded. And they bring this up, and it started to make sense. I think it told me more about the healing power that Thesan has. Thesan wasn't able to heal Azriel, and they had to call in a healer. They say this, that Thesan couldn't do it because his wings are so different from the peregrine wings. I don't know if is it peregrine, or did we just start saying
We just call them that now because the peregrine falcon.
okay?
Yeah. She does not say that he could not heal him.
He couldn't do it well.
She said it was slow.
It was
She said it was slow. That doesn't mean he's not doing it.
yeah.
Doing it slowly because the wings are different and he's got to figure out how they work.
Yes, so I have the note. Healing is like constructing because Thesan couldn't heal Azriel. It's almost like a constructing, like a weaving, like the weaver. No, more surgical than I was expecting, I guess.
I agree.
And Thesan, that was when he went to help Nesta when she fell down. He used his hands over her. I think that's kind of what they're doing. And the healer does that too. And Feyre can't do that. It's just her blood, right?
Do you think it's more like he's just praying to the cauldron over top for like laying hands on her?
Yeah, and you have to know the right words or
The
something.
cauldron be with you.
And also with you.
And also with you. He's just groping her a little bit. He's like, there's nothing wrong with her tits. Moving on.
Azriel has tits. It's Azriel.
Well, when he was helping Nesta, Azriel, he's like, their shadows keep blocking me from his nipples. And it's like the shadows keep slapping his fingers. Wouldn't that be cool? He's like, I got to figure out his wings next. But every time I try to heal him, he comes.
But this made me forgive the healing power a little bit more. It seems like it requires more skill to use than I was expecting.
It's not just a blanketed innate.
Yeah, like vibes you're sending someone's way.
Like he's over there patching up his aura.
Yeah. But I'm really surprised that a High Lord with all of this healing power needed a healer to step in for
Needs
him.
Instructions.
Yeah.
And maybe she could have just came in and imparted that on him and like, I know what you're thinking. These wings are wild. But here, I brought you 60 bats you can practice on. Same.
But that happens. And this is when Mor and Feyre have their moment. Mor comes out. I am in shock because I thought this was a pretty conservative book that I didn't see.
What?
Yeah, like conservative as in just
If we're talking about Christian type parallels,
kind of, yeah. And I think it was because of all the parallels going on
the
in
hero of the book is Satan. if you're looking at this as Christian parallels.
I guess. I just didn't think that they were gonna have a gay character in the main circle. And I think I said that a little while back of like, sweet, we had gay characters in this world that they're married.
Are gay. Just saying.
I was shocked. It was great. That's all. I don't know. That's how I felt about it. It was so touching. It was so loving. It was lovely.
Yes,
Other
really
than there's homophobia in this world, I would have thought. Yeah, there's a lot of homophobia. I thought there wasn't. It's only Valaris that there isn't.
Gay High Lord. I
forgot about.
Here's the thing. This is why I've got bones to pick with this.
Okay.
All right. Number one, Mor is I liked the lore of her lover, the one who she's measuring all others against.
The queen
is the queen.
Yeah.
Who was the great grandmother of the Golden Queen.
Yeah.
Right. Which also makes the Golden Queen's part of us a little sad because she didn't have much of a story and then she was destroyed by the Adder and tortured. Absolutely awful. But Mor's like, I can't tell anybody. They won't still love me. What do you mean? You're worried about your family judging you. Your family hates you. There's no sense. You would not be worried about this at this point. That's the most unrealistic part. You are only concerned about your family's thoughts and feelings on you if you have a mutual respect to lose. No. I don't believe in this at all.
No.
Bullshit.
It's deep, bullshit. Deep problems that her family has put on her.
2 hours later.
So we had a really long discussion about Mor coming out, and there was just a lot of personal and private information that we were going over to discuss her entire topic. Hit a little close to home. Overall, I would say the world building of there being homophobia kind of threw you through a loop.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
Well, we ended on that. And overall, I liked it. I think Feyre's reaction made sense to me, but Mor has been ice cold to Azriel. I don't know if she's gonna come out to him in this book. I think it's gonna be if she does, he's gonna react fine. It's my guess.
What a bold move to assume Azriel's gonna survive.
Oh my God, no.
I'm just saying.
No.
That was all part of my concern. I'm like, people die off before they know it. All right. I'm going to also tie up the loose end of his saying, you did help me reach a point of understanding with this that I did not have, which is it doesn't really matter. The important thing is how Mor feels. It doesn't need to have a logical justification for her feelings.
Yeah,
I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think that it's almost like our world bleeding in to this scene, almost like Mor's scene wasn't just for Mor, like us peering in. It was like for the readers.
Yeah, and it wasn't hopefully like a J.K. Rowling situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, hopefully nothing like that. We still got one more book coming out.
Dumbledore shows up in this book. God damn it. Yeah. All right. Moving forward.
Yes. And she talks about how Azriel confessed to her when she was like nearly killed, right, by Eris. And I found that really crappy and selfish of Azriel, of she's nearly dying and he's like, this is my moment to confess my love. And she's like, I'm nearly dead and I'm going to put energy into not hurting your feelings right now.
Yeah, I didn't take it that way. That makes sense.
Yeah.
When I heard it, I thought it was Azriel confessed to her after finding her like that and then getting her healed. And he was just like, you are so loved.
Oh, I took it way more literal.
I think you're probably correct. That would make sense.
He's like flying her home and she's like, this is an awkward ride home.
He like squeezes her butt a little bit. He's like, I love these.
Rhys told me this line works.
100% of the time, it works every time. It's the Sex Panther of this.
And we learned that her girlfriend was the queen, the Golden Queen's like great grandma.
at least 500 years worth of greats. I don't know how many generations that equates to. But
No idea.
let's say 25 years every generation.
And
That's 25 generations deep.
when this scene played out, she's talking about how the sixth queen has children and living her life and all of this, and Mor essentially is seeing this happen or saw that this happen. I thought of the song "Good Luck, Babe," and I wish Mor could hear that song. I think she would love it, and I think it's something that Mor may even need, because what that queen did to her is almost like what Mor is doing to all of her past lovers, that she kept it all a secret and hidden, and it ended all of her relationships by not
It's a
accepting.
cyclical shitty thing.
Yeah, by not accepting herself.
I would agree.
I also think that Amren has known about Mor. There were
Yeah.
a few times that Feyre would do something or say something about Azriel. I bet Rhysand even knows, just quietly, because Amren and Rhysand have both told her, just like, stop, just leave it be. Amren even said there's truths that even Mor won't accept. And I'm taking that as Amren knew
So,
and just leaving it be.
Yeah, no, that's a
So-
great pull. I did not think of that at all.
Because in the moment, I think it was intended for us to assume that it's about Azriel, when really it was truly about Mor and accepting herself.
Yeah, no, that's a really good pull. I had not considered it.
Yeah. So yeah, that all happens. They have their heart to heart. They made up, which is great. I'm glad that happened, because I was very pissed at Feyre. I think she crossed the line, but it seemed to. Mor is very sweet.
Within the confines of their relationship, I think
Yeah.
that it's good the two of them worked it out.
Yeah, to where Mor opened up to her.
Yeah,
And
I think their interactions are kind of wholly their own.
they're
I can't put them through. What I've
friends.
learned from this conversation is I cannot put them through my own lens. That's not the way this was meant to be.
You don't know what it's like to be a girl and have a girl best friend?
I don't honestly know what anything's like. I think the great experience of faedom and humanity is the individualistic nature of our lives. They have it all to their own, and I have mine.
Yeah.
I just need to try to experience theirs through their own lens as much as I can.
After they have that, Hybern information comes back.
Why doesn't he get a name? They refer to both the place and the person as just Hybern.
The king of Hybern.
Well, sometimes they just call him Hybern.
Oh, do they? I
Yeah.
just did it.
Within this
Hybern.
chapter, she was just like, and Hybern looked this way. And I'm like, it would be cool if I just imagined the entire country in unison looked toward Nesta. I don't know. It was wild.
They start moving east because they're on the west side. They start moving east is what we hear. I have no concept of where anybody is. I got very lost. They gave us
Direction of the autumn cord.
so many directions. We headed this way. We did this. This is in front of us. This is behind us. I'm like, how is that in front of you? That's behind you. And they're, I don't know.
Yeah, we should get like a map printed out next time we listen to it and just move around get some figurines, move them around.
I just chalked it up to there's rocks involved. They were just like, that's why the cauldron was here with the rocks. And I'm like, there's rocks here? Where are the rocks? I don't understand.
That's a good point. I assume there are just rocks everywhere.
I took it as they're at the most southern point of the human lands and that Hybern is like almost on the beach. I don't know. And that
Hybern was in the west, southwest.
I did too. But at one point they saw,
Oh, the country of Hybern, I should say.
no, they're not at Hybern. They're on the human
I
lands.
agree. I realized when you said I thought Hybern was there, you were talking about the people,
The people,
and I was thinking
Or-
about the country, the landmass of Hybern.
they just lifted up their little.
The Hibernese
And then-
people.
And then they mention an island. Wow, I don't remember there being an island on the map. Confused.
Well, the island, is that where Draken and Moira? Not Moira. Shit's Creek.
Miriam?
In my head, every time I hear, her name, I think of Moira, and it's just the Schitt's Creek lady, so I imagine she's like, I'm going to put on my war wig now. And she puts it on. She's like, this is Clarice. She helps me win battle. I don't know. It'd be really-
But at some point, ships were coming from the west, or there were ships coming from the east. Those were friends, right? But then Hybern was coming from the west. That also makes sense. But then there was, you know what? I'm confusing myself. I don't know. I'm just chalking it up to that.
There's another song that just made me think of.
Which is?
Better than the east and better than the west.
I don't know this
I'll
song.
never give you less. No, it's rap. It's, I think, 90s, early 2000s rap. It doesn't matter. I'm banging in the east, I'm banging in the west. No, it does not matter.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Does not matter.
Uncultured. Chapter 66 ends with Hybern going on the move. Sisters are advocating for the humans because they're very worried about them. Chapter 67.
Rhys also advocates for the humans.
He does.
That I thought was really well put.
Oh, so?
Because it wasn't about how you feel about the humans. He said, this isn't about how you feel about the humans. This is about how you feel about yourself. Are you the type of person who would leave a defenseless people defenseless for slaughter? Or are you the type of people who will use what power you have to help those who can't help themselves? Is ostensibly what he says.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really, really good note for Rhys. Because I'm not always a huge Rhys fan, and sometimes his speeches are really corny. But I thought that was really nice.
It's much sweeter than I remember that moment being.
That may have changed it then.
Chapter 67, Amren talks about her plan for nullifying the king. And on my second listen through, I was trying to catch clues of Amren's plan. There wasn't any clues.
I think I know Amren's plan.
What?
We'll get to it in the end.
Okay. Overall, her character is not one to betray Feyre.
Correct. I would agree.
And Feyre using the word betrayal and being like, Amren betrayed me, backstabbing. She didn't say backstab, but reminded me of Jurian being like, you guys know me. And Amren's going to be like, I've been living with you this whole time. Why would you assume this? You couldn't know XYZ. I think us, the readers, aren't allowed to know. Therefore, Feyre can't know. This would be a wild fourth wall break on Amren's part. That'd be
She
cool.
looks at the reader.
She's like,
and at this moment, Feyre knew she had been duped. It's really fun. I would say part of Feyre's ability to now believe that Amren has betrayed her is learning something big about Mor, which turned out to not be something that was well known. That there are hidden truths among these people.
overall, people have lives outside of Feyre. What is it?
Which is
Object
nice.
permanence?
Yeah,
Feyre's just
exactly.
like, wait, what?
Yeah, she blinks and they still exist the whole time.
So they go to save these humans.
Yep.
What was your take on this scene? I want to see your take first, and then I'll give
Talking
you
about
mine.
the winnowing the night before the battle.
Yes, and saving all of the humans and bringing them, I think, to the summer court.
So I don't think they got all the humans, right? They got several. They got as many as they could get. And it was everybody with the ability and strength to winnow from wherever they were getting the humans from in Feyre's old town into Adriata. And he sent Chrysanthemum, or whatever the princess's name is.
Yep, Crusader.
Yeah, oh, I was so close. So he sends her back to babysit the humans.
Yep.
Rhys is calming them down, just brushing through their hair, like, easy. And she's giving them all these crazy truths. She's like, hey, you're about to be murdered by magic people. And they're like, what? And she's like, just grab a blanket and a couple pairs of undies, you'll be fine. So they get them and the dog, and they take them all back. She takes the horses, which I thought is actually a nice logistical plan on Feyre's part. Like, these people can't just move throughout the Fey lands without a pony. Like, they need something to move around with, and they couldn't bring their car because they don't have those. So overall, I really liked it. I thought it's a really poor strategy if you're trying to win the War the next day. It does show that you're kind of planning on losing. Like,
Yeah, I can see that take.
yeah, where it's like, okay, either you believe you have Hybern so outgunned that you can tire out everybody that is powerful and meaningful, or you're planning on like, hey, we're going to lose anyway, we might as well save the people we can. I liked Feyre's note of, hey, one person matters. Because I also think that's a very solid truth in general.
Yeah, it was a really touching moment. I guess my take on all of it was they weren't wrong for doing what they were doing, like to go do this. Like, that was all great. But they kind of made it seem like the humans had free will, and they didn't. Where she's like, we went in and we explained to them, went door to door so they could choose, but yet Rhys is in their mind, which takes away some free will. And then when they're just like, you decide, like, totally, you make the best decision for your family. Like, we're giving you all the information. And then Rhysand's like, wrong decision. You're coming with me.
I would say even if you don't factor that in, where I can see people being defensive of this, and I would be really curious to know, because I do think people would be defensive of Rhysand calming them, blah, blah, blah. Would you want somebody to sign a contract that took ketamine to chill them out beforehand? Like, I think that's sort of how I see it is. It is manipulative.
I took it as manipulative in a bad way. You were either there to let them have choice or you weren't.
Yeah, and I think you deciding to take that choice away from them I think it's viewing the humans as equal to the Fae, it's a problem. Seeing the Fae as an evolved being makes it less of a problem. Like, I don't let my dog chase cars because he'd eventually get hit by a car, and I want him to have freedom within the confines of what I deem healthy for him. And I think that's a bit of how they're treating the humans. Not suggesting it's right. I completely agree with you. Morally, I'm a bit objected to it because I am a human, and I would be really insulted if somebody came in and creeping around in my brain and they're like massaging, like, it's okay, bird, I'm going to take care of you.
Well, I also saw it as the humans are objecting because they're like, we don't trust the Fae. And they're like, dude, you can totally trust us. While Rhysand is in their mind validating they shouldn't trust the Fae.
90% trust. That's what they're able to have.
Yeah. But overall, they did rescue many, which is great.
Now, here's my question. Would you have instead had people gather the humans in a circle out front, holding hands, and then sent Rhysand in and win him away like he did the army?
Yes.
Like, I think that would have been a better use case than just like, okay, we're going to take them in individually. Like, they had packets set up for those people. They show up in Adriatic. They're like, getting to know your new city. You know? Don't go near this spot in the water. Turns out there's a secret cave in there where we used to keep a book, but it's kind of scary. Also,
it was such a short scene.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
It shows Feyre being the human emissary, not Nesta, actually. I think Nesta was agreeing, but it was Feyre doing Nesta's job in that
I would say Rhysand was the primary human emissary in this.
Yeah.
He's the one that convinced everybody else. Feyre's like, fuck it, if you don't, I'll do it. And Rhysand's like, well, hold the phone here. We can all be better. And even Keir kept his mouth shut during that time, which I think it shows a certain level of
respect.
Yeah.
Do you know how this chapter ended?
The Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? No, I can't remember. Which chapter was this? 69?
67.
Oh, okay.
This is when Feyre is realizing how understaffed? No, not the word I'm looking for. Unprepared they are for this war. And she's having this mental monologue of, this is what I gotta do. I have to go get the mirror. I have to have the bone carver on our side. And she leaves without a note. And I paused it and I came to you and I said, do you know what just happened? You're like, she's leaving? I'm like, yeah, without a note. And you're like, no, that's not what happened. So we re-listened to it. She didn't leave a note.
As I recall, I said, did she?
Yeah.
I was like, I assume she would have left a note or spoke to somebody because of all the great apologizing she's done.
Yeah. Her genuine apologies.
She leaves without a note, does her own backstory bullshit. Rhysand, turns out, does the exact same bullshit.
Well, in the timing in which he asked for her to leave a note, he's omitting from her. So him having the audacity to be like, hey, you are always free to do what you want. It says all the right things, right? Because she can go do whatever she wants. But as far as the safety thing, with those we love, we should leave a note. I completely agreed with him. But in that moment that he was asking Feyre, he knew why Helion was able to get to her quickly. Because he was making deals.
Hey, you know what? I think somebody else has made a bit of a plan or a deal without talking to anybody.
Amren.
Yep. I don't think she betrayed anybody. Kind of. Since we're going to come back to this, I assume I'm going to say something. I'm going to let you stew on it for a minute, and then we'll walk away and come back. I think when Amren realized that they couldn't all be there to the cauldron, blah, 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 I think the reason that Azriel didn't tell Feyre what was going on is that Azriel needed a message delivered to Amren, not Feyre. Feyre is just the messenger pigeon for this. And I think what it comes down to is they're going to lose this war, right? From what it's looking like right now, they are taking super heavy losses, blah, blah, blah. The Cauldron kind of has its own mind about things even. I think Feyre is put there so that she can't stop Amren and everybody else is out of the way. Rhys's whole goal, when he said, if we find out we can't win, I'll find a way to unbind Amren and I'm going to unleash her. I think that book actually said, this is how you unbind Amren from this bullshit. And I bet Amren comes out and fucking destroys the place. That's my guess. And maybe this is how we lose Amren as a character, which would be the only acceptable way that I can see Amren going away, but it's also the only way I can see them winning this battle. Because now the King of Hybern is dead. They're still going to lose this war, handedly. And Amren is the last beast we've heard of that hasn't been unleashed on him.
Oh my God.
Because we have the Bonecarver's dead. The Weaver dies in the coolest way. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Bryaxis is still out there, but he's just keeping up. I could be totally wrong. But if I was writing this book, that's why she's not giving Feyre any instructions. Feyre is stuck to the Cauldron, but the Cauldron is showing her things as opposed to just overwhelming her with power the way it was before.
Yeah.
And I think this is where Amren's like, there's a way we can do this, but you need to go and do this, because I think Amren would be stuck.
I'm so sad.
I could be totally wrong.
I think that's such a great plan. So either way, I might be sad. Sad if you're right, and also sad that you're wrong, because that's a really great story.
If I'm right and Amren dies, I will continue this series because it was a really justifiable sacrifice, and I think it would have made so much of her buildup. Remember, she trained Nesta how to basically use Cauldron powers, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of the idea to lure the King of Hybern. I would say if you were going to do this, it maybe could have been done differently. I don't know, maybe the Cauldron, maybe she needs Feyre holding the Cauldron to use the Cauldron's power to unleash Amren from her mortal
I don't know. Oh my, okay, well.
If that isn't how it goes, that's totally fine too. But if they're going to kill off Amren, this is how it has to be done.
Okay, well, chapter 67 ended with her not leaving a note. Chapter 68 starts with her going to the chamber with the mirror in it. There's like snow, and that's moonlight. I don't know. It was confusing. She made it sound like she walked downstairs, and it's also like an outdoor.
Yeah, there's mountains behind her.
Yeah, but I thought she was under the mountain.
Maybe she walked outside the mountain. Maybe there's a side door.
Oh, yeah. Cause
like there's a porch. You know, I don't know.
Like you just go down far enough. She said like 1,000 stairs. You go all the way down. It's actually just you going outside down in the valley of the mountain. That would also be in moonlight, snow. That's really fitting.
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
Minus the chamber part. So that's fine.
It's like an outdoor chamber. I'm not gonna, I have a chamber joke I'm not even gonna make.
At first she sees her regular reflection, and you made this joke forever ago when we first heard about this. It would be really funny if she just sees her regular face and that's what breaks her, because she knows that's what's supposed to break her, and she gets inside her head of like, oh my God, I am the problem the whole time.
I think it would be really funny too if it like removed the makeup and all that stuff. Like, can you imagine that parallel?
Just her human self. She just sees her human self and she's like, oh, I'm ugly.
Oh, well, I need to quit being so mean to all these other people that are human.
Gotta quit being mean to these humans.
I should have kept Isaac. He was enough. That would have been really funny.
But then she sees, and this actually was a really cool scene is with how I pictured it, that she's looking in the mirror. She sees this beast behind her when looking in the mirror, and she waits until she can attack. She turns around and she does her strike, and there isn't anything there, obviously. She turns her head, and it's like it's sitting there, and it swivels her head to meet eye contact with her, and it's just looking at her the entire time. It's like during that moment is when it switched from being a reflection of being behind her to literally being herself.
It was, honestly, this is one of those scenes where I really want there to be a show.
Yeah. This felt like a TV show moment.
I would be really curious to see how somebody that's very creative, what they would do with this.
Yes. And when I re-listened, I listened for the description in this scene of the beast. And I just took it as she sees a badass beast creeping behind her. The way she described it, it's a massive paws, not for this type of environment, but it's huge. It's got scales, a tail. Yeah, it was like a dragon lion thing is how I pictured it, and all black also.
Yeah. No, how did you feel about how difficult it was for her to come to terms with that?
I have the note on this. Feyre gave us more thought about Tamlin jumping than the mirror affecting her.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
She's like, I look so fucking cool, actually.
Well, yeah, and then she's telling the bone carver, she's like, I saw myself and I wept.
No, that was her telling Rhys, the bone carver. She's pretty much like, it's none of your business.
Oh, okay. I thought she told the bone carver. She's like, I saw myself and I came to terms with me. And he's like, yep, you're worthy. You're not crazy. Cool.
It asked her questions. She didn't answer them. She just
misunderstood that whole thing.
Like, it's none of your business. Are you going to fight or not? And the bone carver's like, it'll be my pleasure.
Yeah, well, okay, either way, she's telling Rhys, I've wept. I had all of these strong feelings and all this.
I took it as creative writing to let us re-experience that moment with her a second time and with Rhys. Because sometimes if we get it all in that first scene, if we got all of that experience that she described to Rhys in chapter 68, then when we see Rhys, either she says it all again, which isn't good writing to repeat anything like that, or it just is, I told him everything. And I like that this was in two different spots.
No, I would agree. I guess I'm imagining a world in which everybody else who is honestly introspective goes crazy. I think that's wild to me. The mirror drives everybody nuts. He's like, people can't handle it because either they think they're big and powerful and they look in the mirror and they see something frail and sad.
Yeah.
Or they believe themselves to be a good person and they look in the mirror and they see a beast and blah, blah, blah. I don't know that I can comprehend.
I took it as your biggest insecurities are out on display. If Ianthe was in front of it, it would probably be an ugly, ugly version of herself. And she would be like, that's not who I am. But it's like, that's kind of the point. The mirror's saying, this is who you are.
I think
I could see that breaking Ianthe.
Okay. All right. I'll run with it. I think I saw it more as what you see in that mirror isn't a permanent representation. This is an opportunity for you to learn in an objective way your truth so that you can improve yourself. I guess
that's a really great take. I saw it as
it's
permanent.
Not like the book gave. The book made it seem like these people see it and nobody sees this as, oh, hey, I saw this. I can change this. They see it as, this is the way I am. And it drove them crazy. I think you're correct. I think I would have taken it differently, is all.
Which would mean it wouldn't break you.
No, I think in order for it to break you, you have to have this idea that you're not willing to change. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot about the Fae not being a people of growth in general.
Yeah, it's not coming from a place of growth. Almost like you are who you are. You either accept it or you don't, rather than you are who you are and you can develop as a person.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
But they're not people. They're Fae.
No, still people. They're not humans. They're Fae people.
Yeah. Then she takes it to the bone carver. The bone carver still looks like her child at this point. I'm going to wait on it.
I'm curious. No, please. Were you thinking of when he's in the leathers? Is it just for child grown?
Oh my God.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. I forgot that she did tell us that he transformed into an Illyrian. I forgot all about that. I'm like,
prime.
Yeah. This whole time I was like, is that just her son out there slaughtering people and she's just looking at it?
You know why I think it's her son?
Why?
Because she did.
Oh my fucking God.
She didn't thirst over this beautiful Illyrian in his prime. Otherwise, the Feyre we know and love would have given us a 3-minute exposition on how his thighs went up into his ass into his perfect back.
Oh my God.
All right, now what was your theory?
That's
where are you going?
2 for 2 that you have had theories that just like,
I don't think they're right.
It makes sense. And does Rhys just see Jurian?
Looking good out there? There's 2 of them. What the hell's going on here?
Oh, I didn't consider the bone so my first thought, which was just a silly one, I thought it was her literal small child size figure out slaughtering this entire time. I'm like, why didn't they tell us that he looks different? They did. I'm just dumb. That's all that is. But I didn't consider that it was just the grown-up version of her son that she is seeing out there.
What were you going to say before I...
That was it.
Oh.
Just my silly little, is it a child out there murdering?
It's not silly. It's funny. I think yours would be much funnier if it...
How do I move on from this?
Oh, man.
She didn't... He was in the distance. She couldn't see his eyes.
Well, she's got fey eyes. She sees things. I don't know. I feel like maybe you're correct and it's just... Or I think it's just a random Illyrian.
You're doing a really great job putting thought into this stuff that's being given to us. I've really relaxed and let Feyre do all the thinking for me. If Feyre doesn't tell me, I'm not aware of it.
This book has taught me not to trust Feyre thinking. Okay, that's what happened. We have very different versions of this book. But that's good. I think it's probably not right. I just think that would be fun.
Well, that's what chapter 68 ends on, is her going to the bone carver. She's pissed. She's just like, that's all that was? Nothing you actually needed from this mirror?
I think it was a really nice thing to give the bone carver that bit of development too, where he's deciding, is this a worthy cause? Or are you just another one of the countless people? Because he's thousands of years old. It's not like this is a second war he's seen. He's seen any number of wars in his own world probably. And he's like, I've seen what this stuff's all about. Why would I go fight for something that is a momentary convenience?
Yeah, that's a good point. So chapter 69.
Nice.
They are in the human lands. She comes back. They don't tell us. This actually skips quite a bit from chapter 68 to 69 because she hems and haws a little bit. I think it's 67 or 66 of I should probably go with Amren to find a way to contain Bryaxis in a body so he can fight. And she's like, well, not right now. And then continues on with the bone carver path, right? I think it's around this time between 68 and 69 that she must do that with Amren, and they just don't tell us until later. 69, they're in the human lands. They pass her village. Everyone's gearing up, and Azriel can't go. He is threatened to be tied to a tree if he does. And it's just kind of showing the power imbalance between Azriel and Rhys. And I thought more about this in the last thing that you had said, that whether they like it or not, Rhys is an authority over them.
Well, their work.
I still don't like that.
It's okay.
I see it as
all the High Lord. The real High Lord was the one we made along the way.
Either they're your equals or they're not.
They're not.
They are, though. Azriel and Cassian remind Rhys that they're all equals.
In certain contexts.
In this group of chapters, and even the last one when Cassian argues with him, when Azriel argues with him, Azriel, I think, decided to listen, not because Rhys told him, or that he thinks Rhys is his authority, because he cares about everyone and respects their thoughts and opinions, and more convinced him. But then later he starts to go and Rhys gives him an order. And he's like, no, it was just, we're all equals. And they are treating Rhys as an equal.
Okay. Can I offer you one other thing?
Yeah.
I'm going to be very cautious, and you let me know if this is doing anything to...
Piss me off?
Yep. I don't want you mad. When we go to the lake with all the kids there, right? And our nephews are there and everybody's there. We as adults are all equals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now if one of our kids says, I want to do this right now, and let's say one of their aunts or uncles says, sure thing, let's go do this. We as parents also say, no, we're all equals in the broad spectrum of things. But when it comes to the areas in which we have more authority, such as we are their parent, not just their adult.
I see what you're saying.
I think that's what I'm saying.
You're relating it to Rhys, but that falls into everyone just has different jobs.
Yeah, well, Rhys's job is the president of the Night Court. And
president business.
He's president business. And Azriel is, let's say, the Speaker of the House. He is important. He is outside of work. They're all equals because the job there is friendship. one of you isn't the boss of friends.
Well, none of this really matters because in the end, Cassie and Azriel still do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They do, but I don't think Rhys was wrong for saying, you do what I tell you to.
yeah.
I don't think Cassian's wrong for ignoring him. I'm just saying it's not wrong of Rhys to have that expectation.
I view them all as equals.
In every way? Okay.
Okay.
No, you know what? They're equals. Rhys, you quit being a shitbird. You're not their boss. You are a High Lord of the Night Court, but it's a court, and they are equal members of the Lordship. Fellowship of the Courts. I don't know.
So they're all getting ready. There's a dig at Amren's gear, and Feyre had her guard down, and she's been doing this more often lately, which seems really unusual, where she'll think something and then Rhys's just like also
Chiming in.
Yeah, he'll just chime in. So she sees Amren dressed up in Illyrian gear as she asks, like she says to herself, I wonder if that was made for a child. And Rhys's just like, it is.
Yeah, this was children's gear. Here's my question. Why do the children need war gear? Because this isn't showing them being mature. Like, we have child soldiers? Are they who's getting wiped out?
Well, they begin training at like a young age, which we learned with Cassian and Azriel was later.
No, that's fair.
But
that's better than my child soldier thing. I was like, guys, this is rough.
I'm still
a tiny sword.
Shook if that is their child that the bone carver posed as. Anyways, this was when Azriel gave Elaine the truth teller. How did you feel about that?
I loved it. I thought it was so perfect. He's like, I'm not going to use this. And this is after Elaine already is not wearing the Illyrian fighting leathers.
No, I think she's in pants at least. I think someone gave her pants.
They gave her the Winter Court gear because the Winter Court it covers more. Shows less skin. It's not as mobility based as the Illyrian leathers. And so she's kind of already trying to search around, find her element. They try to give her swords and she's like, no, I refuse swords. I'm not going to be a part of this. I'm here to support you guys emotionally. And Azriel is like making sure she is safe.
And
the way that he can do it. And the way his hand lingered on the hilt when he handed it to her. And
I melted.
Staring into each other's eyes.
I melted.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was like, God damn it. This is the best romantic moments of this book have nothing to do with Rhys and Feyre.
No. So far the most
Azriel and Elaine and Nesta and Cassian.
No, I was going to say Varian and Amren.
There's a sexual. It's not romance based.
Well, if your theory about Amren comes true, I might actually cry.
It probably won't. I'm going to come for you with this. I didn't write this book. Oh my God. Do you need a tissue?
No, my eyes get watery. It has nothing to do with anything that's going on in these outside relationships. I'm going to be so sad because the whole thing that she told Feyre why she doesn't want to
give them any advertisement.
The whole reason she doesn't actually want to leave the body she put herself in is because she won't feel the feelings that she's feeling. And she won't feel the feelings that she has for Varian anymore.
Mm-hmm. No, it's incredibly sad. I would agree. That's a very good romantic relationship still. I don't know if that one's better than Rhys and
Rhys gives a speech.
What's her name? Feyre. Shit.
Rhys gives his speech to everyone in the room, going one by one. This was a cheesy scene.
So bad.
And it ended even more cheesy than I could have expected.
Do you think you wrote it down?
I wrote down friendship circle.
Yeah, they don't join hands. The Lollipop Guild is all at it again. Okay, so
friends.
Laugh long.
Laugh long. Friends.
Solo cup. Anyway, okay, which one of the things that he said is most notable for you?
None of it. I don't remember any of his speech.
Really?
I just know it was
a monster.
Oh yeah, that likes to keep gems.
Hoards gems, like a beast that hoards gems, who I thought was a dragon, but I don't know if that's accurate. I can't remember what the beast was called, but yeah, hoards gems more fiercely than this thing, and taught him that he can't be consumed by his own power. I think because she's more powerful than he is the idea.
I don't know.
But
was that part of what solidified? You think it was his final goodbye?
To Amren?
Yeah.
God, I hope not. He should have done something so much better.
Oh.
No, I don't think she's gonna get a final goodbye. I think her final goodbye is the memories they made along the way. But I would say the most memorable part to me is he takes time to address everybody in his close circle, right?
I don't think he
If I had
addressed
never
it.
met my cousin is a wild move. Like, he could have just said, if I hadn't met this gracious, beautiful person to teach me that there is honor to be found in, I'm going to overuse the word grace here. I didn't write it out. I'm not doing as good as Rhys did. Just that there's a grace to be found in turmoil and all of these things. Like, it is a great speech. It just starts off so wonky with it. If I hadn't met my cousin, I'm like, why would you word it like that? She's more than family through blood. She's a choice of family.
I'm assuming he has lots of cousins, just this cousin.
Are you assuming he has a lot of cousins?
I'm not assuming anything. I just made that up.
Okay. I'm like, I'm not assuming he has a lot of cousins. Evidently, many of these people are, it's just a miracle they're born.
Yeah, they don't
So,
have many
I
children.
don't think there are a lot going on here. And then I would add the way he addresses Feyre's sisters in this.
Oh, I couldn't remember if he did.
He did. He says, I haven't known you long, but I have to assume there's a reason why you're here. That's what he went with. And I'm like, you couldn't come up with one nice thing to say about either of them that was just particular to them. Like, and Nesta, you presenting a challenge for my boy Cassian has been enriching to our social dynamic. Elaine, we appreciate that you're an oracle. It could have been anything other than, well, I don't know you guys well. Thanks for being here. Well, that was such a clunky way to do it.
But what he said to Feyre was really sweet.
Yeah, and I sound like I'm really picking all of this apart. I was oozing as all of this stuff was going on. Other than, again, his speeches were wild to me.
I
But
feel like it went from a really good TV show with a lot of action to a Hallmark movie in about 2 seconds.
oh my God, it's not a good Hallmark movie. It's just a Hallmark movie. It came up very Christmas movie-like.
It was just cheesy. And I think it's
what I associate
fine.
with Christmas music or movies. I love Christmas, but Christmas movies are always super cheesy. I would agree. I think it was adequate. And it was really fun. I enjoyed it, even though it was clunky and cheesy.
Yeah, I don't remember any of the speech. I just remember kind of laughing about it. This is really cheesy, corny. Glad he's having his moment. I'm also really glad that it was Rhys giving a speech because it seemed like in many situations he lets Feyre lead.
Oh, well, there's that.
Yeah. So after their friendship circle,
They all kiss.
mwah, bro, kiss.
Azriel's just like, ooh.
And maybe I'll get close some more.
Yeah, leading in that way a little extra. Elaine's just in betwixt them.
Well, we got a little long-winded there. So this is the end of part 1. We'll be posting part 2 in about 10 more seconds.
Welcome to part 2. If you click that next button or just keep listening.
We're still
That was so
on part
bad.
1.
You're right. We're still on part 1. I've never done this before. Go slow. It was a great time. We had fun. Now get out and go live your life.
No, wait. No. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate and love you all. Please follow us here, TikTok or Instagram at Shadow Daddies Podcast.
And then go live your life.
Bye.
Bye. Get out. We're done. This was Daggers and Shadow Daddies. Now it's my time. Toodaloo. It was fun for us. I hope it was fun for you. But that's all we've got. Goodbye. Come back in a few days. We love you.